So what is the process? Do people need to do sort of pre-ketamine work? Do they see a psychologist? Do they see a health coach? Do they have to go through a series of sort of, retraining the mind, helping them with neurogenesis? I always say that thoughts are the language of the mind, feeling are the language of the body. What type of pre-work do you expect, these patients to have done before they just take a ketamine drip?
So look, the large majority of people are referred to me by other healthcare providers, very often psychologists and psychiatrists. And so a large majority of the work is being done from their existing support basis. The important thing is that you come into this process, this referral process, with the correct intention. So this isn't a fun process to go through. It's not a club drug or something like that. This is real work that needs to be done. And so you really need to set your intentions for what you want to get out of this properly, and you need to integrate the actual process itself after the series with the correct people. And if you're not prepared to do the intention setting properly beforehand and to integrate what you've learned from the process afterwards, you might find yourself regressing and going back to where you started. So the process, people would come to see me. I see all my referrals for an hour beforehand. We take a proper full history from them, a medical history, a psychiatric history, mental health history, a drug history, for example. And I go through all of the blood results that they've had done before to make 100% certain that there's no underlying contributing factors such as an iron deficiency, hypo or hyperthyroidism, vitamin B12 deficiency, that there's no underlying liver or kidney problems, for example. So we look at the physical aspect of them, we examine them properly, make 100% sure that they're safe for these infusions. We exclude people that wouldn't be safe for the infusions. For example, people with uncontrolled, unstable cardiovascular disease or angina, for example. You could imagine that pushing their blood pressure and their heart rate up a little bit might be taxing for the heart. So we do the ECGs if it's necessary. We exclude that they don't have a background history of psychoses, psychotic disorders, schizophrenia, substance-induced psychosis, although in the right hands, people can get away with this if they're being monitored closely by a psychiatrist. But we're very cautious with those patients. Patients that are bipolar, with a history of mania, for example, we exclude that. So the pre-work from my side is always to examine people properly and make sure that they get the informed consent, that they understand the process, that they understand the risks and the benefits to this process, that they understand that it's not a silver bullet. And then with their consent, we go ahead with the process. We normally do somewhere between 3 and 6 infusions. Most of the evidence is for 6 infusions, 2 a week for 3 weeks, or 1 a week for 6 weeks. So they go home, they take a look at all the information, they discuss it with their family members, with their psychologist, with their psychiatrist, they do their intention setting, and then they actually come to the rooms on the day for the actual process. It's a 90-minute process from the moment they walk in to the moment they're done, and in a very safe environment, one-on-one. Every patient has a doctor watching over them for the entire duration of the infusion. It's a very personalized process. We put the drips up for them. We control the dosing of the medication, and we individualize the dosing according to the patient's history, according to the medications that they've used previously, according to the substances that they've used previously. So we tailor the dosing specifically for that patient. We put a drip up for them, an eye mask, we put very relaxing meditation type deep sleep music on for them, and we control the process with blood pressure monitoring, oxygen saturation. We administer supplemental oxygen, very rarely required, but if it's needed, we administer supplemental oxygen. We remove the drip from them 45 minutes to an hour later, and we allow them to recover as long as they need. We make sure that they're not nauseous, that their vitals are all stable, and then they can go home.